May I start?
Yes.
Did you guys all get my agenda?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So I'll start my presentation. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jay, and I'm here today to share my ideas about happiness. So before I start my talk, I would like to question you guys. It's kind of cliche questions. Are you guys happy? And how do you guys define happiness? So the survey of millennials asking people what were their most important life goals are. 80% of the people said that becoming rich is the most important life goals. Another 50% said that another major life goal was to become famous. And in this 21st century, people are told to lean to work and push harder and achieve more. And achieve more, yeah. Sorry. And working faster and faster becomes common virtues, typical virtue that people should have, because in this century the competition is so intense that people are just trying to work fast and get that success and get that money and fame. But does success based on the fast pace of life leads us to happiness? People, I believe, mistakenly think that the faster they become success and the faster they earn money and be famous, the happier they are. But in reality, it's not. Let us look at some simple statistics here that compare South Korea and Indonesia. Indonesia is the country where I was born in, and South Korea is my own country. So South Korea has about 6 times higher GDP per capita than Indonesia does. And based on the society's definition of happiness, it is very logical to predict that South Koreans are much more happier than Indonesian. But the suicidal rate, the happiness factor that I chose to use it in the presentation, shows the opposite trend. So I chose the suicidal rate as happiness factor, or maybe unhappiness factor, because this suicidal rate incorporates all the psychological problems that citizens carry, rather than happiness index that is available online. And we can see that South Korean people are unhappier than Indonesian. And I thought about the reason why. So this statistics reflected my impression on Korean when I first settled here 4 months ago. So I was riding an MTR on the way back home from airport, and on the way back home, and I realized something. I felt something weird, strange, uncomfortable feelings, because the surrounding people in the MTR, where I couldn't even find a single smile from their face and single energy from them, and this totally contradicted to Indonesian street. So whenever I walk in Indonesian street, I could see Indonesians smiling and very cheerful and energetic. And I thought about the reason why. And I realized that South Korean people are very tired of this fast-moving society that keep asking them to produce results and achieve more and get that money and happiness, because that's how South Korean society defines happiness. So, from that moment, I thought about what makes us really happy. And I could find this answer from Indonesian culture. One thing that struck me about Indonesian is that how slow-paced life is out there. For example, the waiter at the restaurant took me a solid 40 minutes to serve me a meal of nasi goreng, and after 40 minutes. And this kind of normal thing in Indonesia, because that's how Indonesian culture works. It's very slow. And maybe the street vendor spent his sweet time picking out the bananas to fry me banana, and it's all slow. But often Korean people nodded their heads whenever they saw this kind of attitude. But living in such culture, but they were always smiling. Indonesian people were always smiling. Yes. So living in such culture, I got an opportunity to think about how the pace of life is related to happiness. And I personally concluded from my experience that the fastest way to happiness in fact is slowness. It sounds quite ironical, because slowness and fastness, how can they exist together? But that's what I learned in this Indonesian culture. So, and I call this aesthetics of slowness. Aesthetics of slowness can be found in many examples of our world, many life examples. Even in the simple story of Rabbit and Turtle race story. So in this story, as you guys know, this rabbit and turtle have a race, and rabbit is way faster and it rushes towards the goal in the beginning, but turtle walks slowly, step by step to the goal, and later at the end, turtle wins in some way. So who's happier in the end in the story? So first, turtle won the race, so turtle should be happier. But second, the most important thing is that turtle experienced something that rabbit could not experience. Is that turtle could feel the magnificent scenery on the way to the goal, while rabbit could not enjoy those moments. So I'm here to say that I'm not here to tell South Korean people to be slow, to imitate the Indonesian culture, but instead, so I understand that South Korean, we had a dramatic success after South Korean War, and we were very, our culture is very embedded with the quick culture and fast culture. But I'm just here to suggest Korean that we should learn how to be slow and enjoy the slowness, and yes. And at the moment, after talking about all these ideas of happiness, I was not happy at the moment when I was preparing the set talk, because I got the bad grades for my midterm grades, and I was all left behind for all the courses. And I tried to rush all the works in one day, but it didn't work. So, I made my mind that I should stay slow and stay well planned on my track. And then I believe that I'll be happy for what I'm doing and what I did in the past. So I'd like to wrap up my talk by saying, be patient, learn to enjoy slowness, and be happy. This is the fastest equation to happiness. Thank you.